We are currently 70 days from the presidential election, big November election, and the Trump team has a new bold strategy for how they're going to campaign. And that's that they're going to start to campaign, actually. Here is a CNN reporter talking about this change in strategy.
We have new reporting tonight on Trump's sprint to November. We're learning that his campaign plans to aggressively ramp up his schedule, holding several events each week. One advisor saying, quote, think Trump on steroids. That'll be all hands on deck. All hands on deck.
So basically, Trump the way they picture him when they draw him with abs and pecs and stuff. Trump on steroids.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
But the funny thing about that, Francesca, is he has been criticized now for like a solid 6 weeks that he's not campaigning. He announced after the RNC that he's just not going to campaign because of the DNC, even though there's like 10 days between them. You're allowed to campaign. He just doesn't want to. He wants to hang out and rage about how unfair the world is, and then play a round of golf and then rage. And so Trump on steroids, I think, is just like a regular kind of low energy candidate by comparison to what he'd been doing. And so maybe he'll campaign, maybe he'll prep for the debate, which is coming up very soon. Now, we know that he generally doesn't like doing traditional debate prep. He doesn't like doing formal preparation or doing mock debates, but he does have a wild card, okay? Former Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard has been working with Trump behind the scenes to help him understand Harris's debate style, which I just think is awesome. Like, I know that a lot of people thought a lot of things about Tulsi Gabbard for a long time, but she's behind the scenes hanging out with Donald Trump so that he can defeat Harris and usher in American fascism. And she's like, what can I do? Put me in, boss. I just think that's funny. What do you make of it?
Yes, Venmo me $1 if you told me I should vote for Tulsi Gabbard in 2016. TBR-live on Venmo is where you do that. I have collected at least $6 from people who were like, you're right, I was wrong. Like, here's the only thing I will say about Tulsi advising Donald Trump on that debate that may or may not happen, and I have upset thoughts about that. But it's that Tulsi will probably help Trump run to Kamala Harris's left on some issues, specifically when it comes to war. And, you know, the right fancies themselves. We're the party of never starting a war, except for we expanded drone strikes by 400% under Donald Trump. Like, I didn't start any new wars, except I just shook hands with Kim Jong-un and ripped up the Iran deal, right? Like, that is so absurd, and yet it is very right, because the Democrats, sadly, and we see over the last 11 months of genocide, have not been able to actually rein in the American war machine, and we're funneling money to Israel so they can continue to kill Palestinians at a record pace. And so it's just like they have not been able to pick up this mantle that was left for them that actually got Barack Obama elected in the first place on the promise that he would end the Iraq war, and he did it, right? Guantanamo's still open. Joe Biden, you know, ended the war in Afghanistan finally.
Yeah.
And a lot of progressives were incredibly happy about it. A lot of young people incredibly happy about it. So I'm a little nervous if this debate does happen, that Tulsi would be advising Donald Trump, because I think we'll start to hear some of that co-opted progressive language that Trump ran with in 2016. You know, I'm not the establishment, they're the establishment, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Harris better figure out a way. It's super easy to hit back at that, but like, you know, she better hit back.
Yeah. And let's bear in mind, you sort of alluded to this, that Tulsi Gabbard anti-war thing has always been a very strange form of being anti-war. It's like, I don't want these specific instances of large-scale nation building, and thus I'm anti-war. I'm totally fine with bombing like the entire world. I'm totally fine with arming these countries. I'm totally fine with maintaining this massive military budget. I'm totally fine with, you know, torture abroad and all that. I'm fine with all of this stuff, but I don't want that nation building, so I'm anti-war. It's like Marjorie Greene saying, I want Ukraine to be utterly annihilated, so I'm anti-war. Oh, by the way, let's invade northern Mexico.
Yes.
It's just such a fake version of being anti-war, and I hate that people can claim that mantle when they haven't earned it.
Well,
But
also,
anyway.
Tulsi is a rabid Islamophobe. Never forget,
Also
she's
true.
a crazy Islamophobe, is like totally fine. Yeah, as long as it's a Muslim nation or country, bomb them to hell. But you're right, no nation building. Don't help anyone. Like,
Yeah.
be more like Israel. No humanitarian aid after you bomb people.
Members make a difference here at TYT. You help make the show happen, and we see you in the chat with your loyalty badge. Click the join button to become a member today.